Hi friends, today we will learn about electric vehicles opportunity in India, and what are the Indian policies for electric vehicle adoptions. But let's start with history. Around 1832, Robert Anderson, a British inventor, developed the first crude electric carriage. In the US, the first successful electric car made its debut around 1890 thanks to William Morrison. By 1900, electric cars were at their heyday, accounting for around a third of all vehicles on the road. New York City even had a fleet of more than 60 electric taxis. It was Henry Ford's mass-produced Model T that dealt a blow to the electric car. Introduced in 1908, the Model T made gasoline-powered cars widely available and affordable. Let's talk about how electric vehicle scores over IC engine cars. Electric vehicle having 80% less moving components than IC engine cars. Internal combustion engine is extremely complex with an enormous number of parts operating in sync with each other inside an automobile. Electric vehicles, on the other hand, are very intuitive. Range and refueling time are two factors where an IC engine is superior to an electric vehicle. In almost every other aspect, electric vehicles are technologically superior to IC engine vehicles. Electric vehicles are smarter, electronic controls are 3 to 5 times higher in electric vehicle as compared to IC engine, and that translates into features beyond anything that consumers have seen before in an IC engine vehicle. Electric vehicles are simpler, a battery plus motor and controller is all that's replacing the entire engine and its related systems in IC engine vehicles. Electric vehicles are greener and they can enable a zero-emission ecosystem, provided that the electricity grid shifts to renewable energy. Electric vehicles are more economical while they have a higher upfront cost, as compared to IC engine vehicles, largely on account of battery costs. The cost of owning and operating an electric vehicles, that is the total cost of ownership, is much lower. Let us understand different components of electric vehicles and their functions. Auxiliary battery. In an electric drive vehicle, the auxiliary battery provides electricity to power vehicle accessories. DC-DC converter. This device higher voltage converts DC power from the traction battery pack to the lower voltage DC power needed to run vehicle accessories and recharge the auxiliary battery. Power electronics controller. This unit manages the flow of electrical energy delivered by the traction battery, controlling the speed of the electric traction motor and the torque it produces. Thermal system. This system maintains a proper operating temperature range of the engine, electric motor, power electronics, and other components. Transmission. The transfers transmission mechanical power from the electric traction motor to drive the wheels. Charge port. The charge port allows the vehicle to connect to an external power supply in order to charge the battery pack. To traction. Electric traction motor. Using power from the traction battery pack, this motor drives the vehicle's wheels. Some vehicles use motor generators that perform both the drive and regeneration functions. Onboard charger takes the incoming AC electricity supplied via the charge port and converts it to DC power for charging the traction battery. It also communicates with the charging equipment and monitors characteristics battery. Traction battery pack stores electricity for use by the electric traction motor. Let's talk about electric vehicle opportunity in India. Let's set some context first. India is the world's fourth largest vehicle market and the world's largest two-wheeler and three-wheeler manufacturer. At a market size of $188 billion, India's automotive industry contributes 7.1% to the annual GDP. This is the size of the industry that could potentially face a paradigm shift in the case of an economy-wide move to electric vehicles. Invest India predicts a CAGR of 44% between 2020 to 2027 for the electric vehicle market, which is expected to hit 6.34 million unit annual sales by 2027. In 2019, government set the goalpost: 70% of all commercial cars, 30% of private cars, 40% of buses, and 80% of two-wheeler and three-wheeler sales to be electric by 2030. In December 2020, the leading think tank Council on Energy, Environment, and Water, based in Delhi, released a report which added some market contours to the 2030 goalpost. If we take the 2030 target as the base case, this would represent an electric vehicle market opportunity of $206 billion between 2021 and 2030. This ambition translates into total sales of 102 million vehicles between 2021 and 2030, an annual battery demand of 158 GWh and a support infrastructure of 2.9 million public charge points by FY30. Let's talk about total cost of ownership. A key barrier to electric vehicle adoption, particularly in India's price-sensitive automobile market, has been the higher purchase price. However, advances in battery and power component technologies and growing economies of scale are pushing EV prices down. The battery prices have fallen by almost 85% in the past decade, from $1,000 per kilowatt-hour to $150 per kilowatt-hour. The prices are expected to decline further to $100 per kilowatt-hour to $120 per kilowatt-hour by FY25. Electric also score over ICE in fuel and maintenance cost. The TCO model uses three input parameters. First, capital costs include vehicle purchase cost, discount rate, financial incentives applicable including subsidy, resale value, and miscellaneous cost. Second, operational costs comprise fuel, electricity, maintenance, staff cost and miscellaneous cost. Third, vehicle usage profile includes the vehicle holding period, average kilometers driven per day, and a number of operational days in a year. If we calculate TCO for electric two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and four-wheeler as compared to ICE engine vehicle. When compare electric Hero Optima or Ather 450 with ICE Honda Activa or TVS PEP, electric vehicle have very low TCO. When compare electric Mahindra Trio with ICE engine Bajaj Compact, TCO much lower also. But when compare Tata Nexon with ICE engine Honda Creta, TCO is higher, but in 5 years' times this will be very lower as battery cost decreasing day by day. Thank you for listening and don't forget to subscribe Truck Pit Stop for more videos.